Hello everybody and welcome back to another Logan Blackman Show YouTube video. As you can probably tell by the title, this video will be going over the United States men's national team upcoming match in the 2025 Gold Cup against Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia obviously coming off a 1-0 win against Haiti. And then you got the United States with an impressive 5-0 win against Trinidad and Tobago on Sunday. We predicted a 2-0/2-1 victory in there. I mean, can you blame me for being a little pessimistic going into that game, given the 4 previous matches the United States had against likes of Panama, Canada, Turkey, and Switzerland? There wasn't a lot of really and yes, I understand Trinidad and Tobago is not very good. They're not very good. They're the 100th ranked national team in the world. They got an inexperienced manager. Yes, they got some experienced players in the squad, but the United States, these past couple tournaments, have done a little bit of the, oh, we're going to coast by on being the United States rather than actually putting forth a performance. And Trinidad and Tobago stunk. There's no other way around it. These kind of games are so hard to really gauge on how good or how far along a team is because the team you're playing is just so bad. The United States in this game outshot Trinidad and Tobago 21-3. Trinidad and Tobago had 2 shots on target in this game. Matt Freese, who started in net for the United States in place of Matt Turner, which kind of surprised me. I'm not going to lie. I know Matt Turner gave up 4 goals in the game against Switzerland, but he'd been the captain under Mauricio Pochettino a couple times. He was the captain in that game. So I wasn't really sitting there going okay, Matt Freese is going to go into this game as the number 1, or the number 25, I guess you should say, because that's the number he had. But he made a nice little fingertip save down in the 58th minute or something like that. I thought for the little bit of action that he had, I thought he did all right, and I do think that he deserves another chance to continue his role as the United States number 1 going into this next game against Saudi Arabia. We'll see if Mauricio Pochettino thinks the same thing, but overall for the United States, it was a good performance. I don't want to take anything away from that. It was a good performance, but again, it's just kind of hard to look at this type of game and go okay, we could take this away from this. We could point to this player being this. Now, I will say that midfield 3, the attacking midfield 3 of McGlynn, Tillman, and Luna, yeah, that should never change. As long as we're in the Gold Cup, that lineup, that midfield 3, that should not change. Those 3 guys were all awesome this game. Jack McGlynn got an assist in the game. He saw his little floated ball across the box or to the back post from Malik Tillman, who slots it past the keeper. Diego Luna had 2 assists in there. One of them could really just count to Alvin Jones. Alvin Jones played a ridiculous back pass, and credit to Diego Luna. We've always talked about Diego Luna gets 100% effort, 110% effort every single time he plays for the national team. He's dead sprinting before Alvin Jones has even started playing the ball back. And once Jones plays it back, Luna recovers it, plays it across the box to Tillman, who just slots it home. 2 goals in the game from Malik Tillman. I can't remember if I said that or not, but 2 goals in the game for him. Patrick Agyemang also got a goal. I think this was another one they credited with an assist for Diego Luna, who got a shot of him. Patrick Agyemang, I guess you could say, right place, right time. He's just standing there. He didn't do anything overly impressive. He's just standing there. Diego Luna takes a shot, cuts it on his right, takes a shot, and deflects off Patrick Agyemang's leg, who's literally just he's just like this. He says, okay, we'll take the goal. We'll chalk that up for a goal for the national team. But in regards to Agyemang, it's so weird for Patrick Agyemang because he's a big physical striker. He's athletic, but he's very awkward when he's dribbling. I just don't think Patrick Agyemang is that great. Now, for this style of squad, I can understand why Mauricio Pochettino would want him in there, but I just don't think he's really that top-level national team guy. Is he within the top 10 strikers for the United States men's national team? Well, of course, but you're looking at the guys like Pepe, Balogun. You would like to assume Josh Sargent is still above him in that power ranking, but we don't really know because, again, he was not chosen the Gold Cup squad for footballing reasons, so maybe he's completely surpassed him on that, or maybe it was just one of those things where Mauricio Pochettino's like, hey, let's get an MLS guy in there. Agyemang has scored goals for the national team. Josh Sargent hasn't, so maybe he is above him, but you've also got players like Damian Downs, Haji Wright, who scored in this goal, came off the bench. Nice little passed ball to the back corner around the goalkeeper. Brendan Aronson also came off the bench, provided that little spark that we've usually seen from Aronson. You can remember that with Greg Berhalter, the Greg Berhalter era. Brendan Aronson would come on, play as a winger, an attacking midfielder, and he would provide that little spark because the United States has had a pretty dead set midfield and attacking trio. So it was kind of Brendan Aronson, it's going to be hard for him to find a spot in and around this team, but he always did stuff good coming off the bench, hammers it near post, probably should have been saved, but hey, we take those. Just slots it past the keeper, hammers it home near post, and Max Arston, he got 2 assists in this game, both on the Haji Wright and Brendan Aronson goals, but they weren't really assist. I know they were credited as assists, but it pretty much was just play the ball down the line, and those two kind of just make their own effort on it. But I did think, speaking of Arston, I did think Max Arston played well. He had a couple nice crosses in the box for Patrick Agyemang, had a couple nice right-footed shots on goal as well. But this is a game, again, where you can afford to be that 100% attacking fullback because you don't need to track back because there's no risk of an attack coming from Trinidad and Tobago. They couldn't put anything together in this game. Long and short, Trinidad and Tobago really could not do anything in this game. So for Max Arston, who we've talked about again, is an optional defender at best, good wing back, good left-sided midfielder, but as a natural left back where you need to track back or you need to cover runners, he's not necessarily that kind of guy. And that you can say, well, that's Mauricio Pochettino's fault. We're putting him in that situation. Or you can say it's Max Arston's fault for not adjusting to the system or not knowing the role. But again, I thought he played well. I thought the back line in general, we saw Tim Ream and Chris Richards starting together. Makes sense. Those two have had a lot of minutes together throughout the United States men's national team for the past however many years now. It was kind of interesting, like going into that game where it was like, Tim Ream's the second best, which is kind of sad. Tim Ream is probably the second best center back the United States has on the roster. And you've got like McKenzie, Zimmerman, Miles Robinson in there. Nathan Harriel can play center back. But Tim Ream at 36 years old, he's the like a consistent figure, a constant figure for the United States. And provides that left-footed option there as well. He was the only guy in this squad, in the starting lineup, I should say, that had Gold Cup in spirit. So this was a very inexperienced squad for the United States. But as we look at more players, Alex Freeman did all right. Sebastian Berhalter got a shot off in the game. Got a couple shots off of the game, but he was dispossessed quite a bit. I don't think he should start in the next game. And it was only really a start because Johnny Cardoso was out with an illness and Tyler Adams still had the foot injury, which I didn't know about the illness for Johnny Cardoso or Damian Downs until the night of the game. So when we made the preview video, that was made 2 days before the game against Trinidad and Tobago. So when I saw that, I was like, man, so I've already got two people in the starting lineup wrong because I had Damian Downs the starting striker because I thought he did well in the 15-minute cameo that he had against Switzerland the other day, but he didn't get any minutes in there. They had him up in the crowd, so I don't know what the illness is. I don't really, like, that's just a broad statement. Like, is he sick? Is he hurt? Is he whatever? Like, you can't, I don't know. I don't ask questions. But again, this was a very solid performance for the United States men's national team. Again, 5-0 victory in this game. Goals from Tillman, Agyemang, Brendan Aronson, and Haji Wright. We'll see how they're going to do in the game against Saudi Arabia. But before I get into that, I do want to touch on the Mauricio Pochettino comments prior to the game, talking about Christian Pulisic, where I'm not a mannequin. You don't get to pretty much just, I'll summarize it for you. You don't get to pick and choose when you represent your country. You cannot come in and be in the two friendly games and then go, oh, I don't want to participate in the Gold Cup anymore, the competitive fixtures anymore. Like, that's not what we're doing here. When I put pen to paper, I've said that a lot the past couple videos, so I didn't really think I'd be saying that, but here we are. But when I put pen to paper, I made a commitment to the federation that we're going to have 100% commitment within the national team. You're not going to pick and choose your games. And that was directly calling out Christian Pulisic, and I respect him for that. Like, you can't just be a pushover. I know it's a national team setup. It's a completely different setup to that of club level. I know they do that thing in FIFA or EAFC, whatever you call it now. I know they do that where you can manage international soccer. Why do they do that in EAFC anymore? Can you still manage international teams while also I don't know how that works anymore. I haven't played a lot of EAFC since the new one came out, but I do respect him calling him out for that. And Landon Donovan, he also talked about it again where he was like, I was frozen out of the national team for 300 something days, missed the World Cup. So he's like, I feel like I'm the guy who should be the one who can talk about it the most and understands the most out of it. It's like, no, that's not how that works, Landon. I don't think anybody should be really talking about this. It's become a point of contention within the national team, and it's not a good spot. This win against Trinidad and Tobago definitely helped get people to look on the bright side of things rather than focusing on the negative things of players not going to the national team, not going to the camp. But I'm glad that Mauricio Pochettino at least addressed it. You can be on Team Pochettino, you can be on Team Pulisic. I'm not on either team. I think Pochettino's had some failures throughout his time as the national team manager. I still don't think he fully gets what he's doing with the national team. And Pulisic, you can be upset that he's not playing for the national team, but also understand why he's doing it because, again, players aren't robots. You can't just ask them to run around 100% and then not get a break in the offseason. Now, you could go, and it's frustrating. I will not sit here and act like, oh, yeah, it's not frustrating. This is completely normal stuff. No, it is frustrating, especially when you watch teams like the Nations League and see, like, Bruno Fernandes or Vitinha go out there for Portugal against Spain, and you got players from the national team of the United States like, I need a break. Yes, that's frustrating, but you also have to understand the human side of that as well. But again, I'll reiterate, I do respect Pochettino for addressing that. I did see some people talking about, like, will he freeze Christian Pulisic out of the World Cup squad? I highly doubt it. I really doubt Christian Pulisic will be frozen out of the World Cup squad. But hey, crazier things have happened. We moved. But as for Saudi Arabia, as we talked about before, 1-0 win against Haiti. Haiti was the better team in this game. They just missed a shit ton of chances. Neither team know what offsides is. I will say that for sure. Like, there was one goal. I think it was either Perot or Duckins Nazan. I can't remember who it was. He was about 5 miles offsides. Like, and they were, it was like the 80th minute or something. He scored a goal, and they looked at the replay. It's like, oh yeah, he might be a little bit offsides. Like in NASCAR terms or racing terms, there was like 10 car lengths between him and the nearest defender. That's what it looked like. And then you had a goal for Saudi Arabia that could have made it 2-0 after the penalty. But again, Haiti were the better team in this game. They took a lot of shots, 8 shots from outside the box, and they controlled possession. They had 11 corners to 1 from Saudi Arabia. Like, Haiti's going to be kicking themselves for this type of game, but Saudi Arabia took the chances when they got it, got the penalty, and came out on top 1-0. Their goalkeeper, though, I know he's only got 10 caps to his name, but he was caught out of position quite a few times in this game where he's kind of like in no man's land. There was a couple times he was on the right side of the box, like pretty much on the edge of the box. He was at the edge of the box, at the front part of the box. Like, it was stressful. It was stressful to watch from a Saudi Arabian perspective, but hey, you'll take wins when you can get them. In tournament settings, it doesn't matter who really the better team was. It just matters if you're able to get the ball across the line and score goals, and then that's ultimately what really matters here. I know it's the grand scheme of soccer in general, but in tournament style, Haiti can go all the way to the bank saying they were a better team. Well, guess what? Saudi Arabia's got 3 points to their name right now. Like, and what's kind of funny, you look at the squad, like, if you go back to watch the Gold Cup preview video, and I'm talking about Saudi Arabia, you're looking at Al-Shehri from Al Hilal, who I talked about in the squad, who's easily Saudi Arabia's most creative player. He's not in the squad because my brain shut off, and I was like, oh, I forgot that he was going to the Club World Cup with Al Hilal. So this squad for Saudi Arabia is fairly inexperienced given the circumstances. Like, they play a back four, sometimes they rotate between a back four and a back five. I would imagine this game against the United States, because they're a better national team or a stronger national team, that they're going to line up with the back five. But you look at players like Al-Shehri, who scored the penalty in this game. He's the leading scorer within this current national team setup with 17 goals. It's his first start for either club or national team level since November of 2024. He's usually, and you can't blame him. You can't blame him, because you look over to who is starter at club level. It's Karim Benzema, the guy who won the Ballon d'Or before he went over to Saudi Arabia. He's not going to start over there. It's not possible. It doesn't matter if Karim Benzema is older. Yeah, you're not going to be starting over him, but he's the main talisman, I guess you could say, for the squad. Again, with the penalty in there. Great penalty as well. Put it in the far corner. Like, the goalie dove the right way, but it just was placed so well in the corner that there's just nothing you could really do about it. And you also got players like Al-Barikhan as well, who's got the most caps within the national team right now with 52 caps. So again, you're looking at a squad that your leading cap getter, I guess, is 52. Like, Al-Shehri, for just comparison's sake, has 98 caps to his name. So yes, he's another player that could be talked about in regards to, like, the key players for Saudi Arabia. You also got Saul Abdul Hamid, who plays over for Roma. He's their starting right back. He's got about 45 caps to his name. You also got Nuaf Al-Bushal in there, left back. He's got 24 starts for Al Nassr this past season in Saudi Pro League. 2 goals, 6 assists to his name. So nice attacking option at that left back spot. I thought Saudi Arabia, for the most part against Haiti, they showed a lot of heart in defense, but there was a lot of very awkward moments in this game. And especially in that defensive area, Saudi Arabia is a 50-something ranked national team in the world right now, but this squad, I don't really think, you would hope anyways, the United States doesn't have a ton of problems. Given what we saw in the game against Haiti, they sat back, they invited pressure, told Haiti to take a bunch of shots from outside the box. I do think, though, that the United States will be able to exploit some of the defensive issues, I guess you could say, within and around the Saudi Arabian team. So we're looking at the starting lineup for the national team of the United States. We're looking at, again, a 4-2-3-1 formation. I'm going to have Matt Freese starting in net again. Again, he had 2 saves this game, only 3 shots faced the entirety of the game against Trinidad and Tobago. I think he deserves a chance to continue to prove that maybe not prove that he's the main guy to challenge Matt Turner. Maybe he is. Maybe in the grand scheme of things, he is the main guy to challenge for Matt Turner's #1 spot. We also got Zach Steffen, who's not in the squad. Patrick Schulte's not in the squad. Both withdrew due to injury. Diego Koshin's younger. Gagos Slonina is also going to be in and around there. So, like, there's a lot of guys that could be competing for that, but a good tournament performance from Matt Freese could really put him in the driver's seat, potentially, for that spot, but I do think he deserves to keep his spot against Saudi. Maybe Mauricio Pochettino goes crazy and puts Brady in there in net. Maybe we see Matt Turner go back in there. I don't know, but I thought Matt Freese did enough to retain his spot for this upcoming game. At right back, we're going to keep Alex Freeman there. And at left back, Max Arvston, we're going to keep him there as well. Max Arvston, again, I know a lot of people aren't really the biggest fans of Max Arvston. He's an optional defender, again, I'll say that again, just an optional defender. He's really solid in the attack, but he's just not a natural left back. So the United States is playing a lot of back three, and he's bombing up the left wing. So I'm going to keep those two there. Center back partnership, going to keep Chris Richards and Tim Ream in there as well. Those two guys, as we talked about before, have a lot of experience playing together. And Tim Ream obviously was the captain in the game against Trinidad and Tobago. Left-footed option at center back as well, which I think is very important for that balance within the team. Yes, you can have, there's no problem with having two right-footed center backs. I mean, the only left-footed center back the United States has is Tim Ream. Like Robinson, McKenzie, Zimmerman, even again, Harriel, they're all right-footed guys. And Harriel's never going to play right back. Or center back, sorry. He's going to play right back, but again, he can play center back for the Philadelphia. He has done for the Philadelphia Union. You look back into the midfield, the back two. This all depends. I don't see Sebastian Berhalter starting again because I do think either one of Johnny Cardoso or Tyler Adams will be fit to play in this game. I'm going to go with Adams as the starter. I do think Adams will be good enough and fresh enough to play in this game. Maybe only play a half. Maybe Johnny Cardoso comes to start. I think it will be either one of those two just because I think they'll be fully firing and ready to go for this game. And then we're going to have Luca De La Torre playing next to them on that left side of the midfield too. And yeah, I just think Tyler Adams and De La Torre, I think those guys there, okay, or Johnny Cardoso, one of those two will start. One of those two will start. And you look at the attacking midfield three, again, like I talked about before, I don't want this to change. So that means Jack McGlynn on the right. We're going to have Diego Luna coming off the left and Malik Tillman in the center. And then up top, I'm going to have Haji Wright starting. Got a goal in this game. He is better than Patrick Agyemang and Brian White. So I want to see him start. The only question around Haji Wright was whether you want to play him as a winger or as a striker. And I think coming off the bench for Agyemang in this game as a striker, playing through the middle, I do like him in that spot. So we're going to have him there for this game, but maybe Damian Downs comes in to start. Maybe he goes with Brian White. Maybe he keeps Patrick Agyemang there because you could really look at this game where this is the first time where we have had a United States men's national team performance under Mauricio Pochettino where it's all looked cohesive. Like everybody knows their role. So I wouldn't be too shocked really if he just kept the exact same lineup from the previous game. Like it really wouldn't surprise me. But I do think if that's the way he's looking at it, I still do have a hard time believing that Sebastian Berhalter will start in the next game. But hey, crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened. People didn't want Arvston or Patrick Agyemang to start in the last game, and they both did. But hey, I thought they played well given their limitations, I guess you could say. So with that being said, that's all I've got for you today. Let's hope for United States win. I'm going to have the United States. I will go 2-0 in this game for the United States. Maybe they no, I don't. Saudi Arabia's attack didn't really scare me that much. So I'm going to go 2-0 for the United States men's national team with goals coming from Jack McGlynn. We'll get him scoring one, and Diego Luna. He deserves one after the one that deflected in off of Patrick Agyemang. He deserves one. So Jack McGlynn and Diego Luna with the goals. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did not, I sincerely apologize. I'll try to be better next time. Make sure to check out all the links in the description down below. Leave a comment down below on how you feel about the United States, about the Gold Cup, about Mauricio Pochettino, about the drama regarding the national team, how you feel about this current squad, how they looked in the last game, what are your predictions for this game, all that great stuff. Yeah, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Awesome. If you didn't, I sincerely apologize. I'll try to be better next time. I've been Logan Blackman, and I will see you guys later. Peace.